and so far I've covered 3,000 miles in all different conditions, in the dry, in the wet, touring to France, done a couple of track days, general blasts out of weekends with mates and to a few bike nights. So modifications I've made to the bike, there's only a couple of things so far, and to be honest there's not really that many things you can do because it's already pretty damn good at what it does. The first thing was the Öhlins rear shock. That's £1,200 shock specifically designed for this bike. It replaces the entire shock and the preload adjuster, which is a nicely machined bit of aluminium, just a bit of bling. It's just incredible. It's transformed the ride quality. It turns nicer, keeps the front end down better in first and second. The ride height is slightly higher as well, so you don't find it grinding out on roundabouts and tight corners quite as much. Second thing is the full Termignoni system, which to be honest is more for aesthetics than anything. It doesn't need it. It doesn't need it at all. It's not like it's lacking in power at 162 horse. I think it's made it to about 172 now. It's just kind of purely to let it breathe a little bit and really release the sound of the V-twin that's kind of held back by the cat, as with all modern bikes. Right, so other than the number plate hanger having the recall, there's only a couple of tiny minor niggles that I have. One is the swing arm. I have large feet, size 14, and my heel rubs the swing arm a tiny bit. It's kind of started to go through the paint a little bit. I guess I could put some sort of protector on there. I imagine Ducati probably will in later models. The other thing is the headlight switch. It's down for on and pull for flash, and the problem I have is when I return to the bar, say after thanking a motorist on an overtake, I put my hand back on and it pushes it onto main beam. I find myself going along with the headlight blazing before I realise, which annoys motorists to say the least, but that's just something I've got to get used to by remembering to put my hand further along the bars. Other than that, no problems whatsoever. It's great. Just never skips a beat. Never a problem starting. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, fantastic. A couple of other bits I've changed. One is the Ducati Performance frame plugs, pretty much for looks, but also do serve a bit of a practical purpose of stopping dirt getting in there, which is normally a hollow, and building up. And the other thing is the reservoir caps, which have now got carbon fibre. Yeah, again, Ducati Performance parts. They're just needless bling, but they look cool. I think the main thing with it is people need to realise it looks like a cruiser. It's not really a cruiser. As Phil West said in February on the launch, it's kind of defined its own genre. It's not a sports bike, it's not a cruiser, it's somewhere in between. So it is hard. It is a hard ride. It's not ever going to be a super smooth ride. It's not that kind of bike. It's a Ducati at the end of the day. It's all about performance. Performance is at its heart, and the style and what it can do kind of comes after that. You know, it's still got to be fast on the brakes and on the gas. That's just the way it is. But I think if you're active with the modes, you'll definitely get the best out of it. You know, stick it in urban mode when you're in town, stick it in sport mode when you're on a blast with your mates, stick it in touring mode when you've got a pillion, or if you just want to take it steady, it just softens it out a little bit, and then it'll come into its own. So there we go, that's my long-term test report so far. I know it seems a bit too good to be true, but it really is a fantastic bike. I really don't have that many problems with it, and it hasn't had any problems itself. If you have any comments or questions,
and I've been riding bikes aside from cars for about 45 years. This is the baddest bike I have ever been on. It is just unfreaking real. And this is a 13 with the Corsa blue racing stripe, which I kind of like, you know, with the white wheels. It's kind of a nice touch. I've got the full Termignoni, can't pronounce that, Termignoni, whatever it is. I got that full exhaust system with the chip and the whole deal, which gives it a little extra kick, obviously. I got a couple extra seats. I put on the touring seat right now, and then I've got the Ducati windshield. I'm gonna turn this thing on a little bit here. This is a keyless bike. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this or not, but the bike basically has 3 modes. You've got sport, touring, and urban. And you can switch this on the fly while you're riding the bike. In urban mode, you're doing 100 horsepower, just cruising around the city like any other motorcycle. Touring mode, you got 162 horsepower, but not as much torque. And in sport mode, you got a lot of torque. And that's 162 horsepower. And this is traction control, ABS. You can change the settings, you know, tune them just the way you like, which is kind of fun. And that's pretty much about it. What I'm gonna do, this bike sounds really good, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little camera movement here. I'm gonna put the camera on a tripod and then start this thing up so you can get an idea of what this sounds like. It's really an awesome sounding bike. There we go. That should do it. All right, let's crank this up. Nice, I love that. Now what I'm gonna do is gonna take this for a ride. I'm gonna get the GoPro, take it for a little spin, get an idea of what this, well, not what it feels like, but what it sounds like on the road, and get an idea of how fast this thing is. It's actually, this thing takes off faster than my GTR, which is crazy. Pretty cool bike. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'm gonna get out the GoPro and take this thing for a ride.